this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And the kids went on a little field trip to Speaker Pelosi's office yesterday.
Did they bring with them some snacks?
Yeah, granola. And their pea hats, of course. A little sit-in by a bunch of economically illiterate leftists. Nancy Pelosi's office demanding, I don't know what they're demanding. They don't know what they're demanding.
Well, they don't want her to be speaker, right? They want to challenge her speaker.
No, they just want her to ban the combustion engine. So if she'd do that, then we'd be fine. And guess who showed up? A special guest for our class today. It's none other than Democrat Socialist it girl Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has the same grasp of economics they do.
I just want to let you all know how proud I am of each and every single one of you
Thanks.
for putting yourselves and your bodies and everything on the line to make sure that we save our planet, our generation, and our future. It's so incredibly important. I've shared with you all, and I've shared my story that my journey here started at Standing Rock, and it started with everyday people doing exactly what you all were doing too. It was just standing with the Lakota Sioux, standing with allies, standing with indigenous tribes, because we don't have a choice. We do not have a choice. We have to get to 100% renewable energy in 10 years. There is no other option. The IPCC let us know that.
Exactly.
Hey, renewable energy.
We are everyday people.
Thank you for putting your bodies on the line.
It
What?
started
you just
with
had a little protest outside of Pelosi's office.
It started
Like
with
you're going
me.
to war.
It started with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and standing with Native American lesbians in Kansas. And now
bisexual senators in Arizona.
Now it's come all the way to Nancy Pelosi's office. Oh, happy day. For more on this perspective on energy policy, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, CNN chief economist, Wall Street Journal columnist. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. By the way, this is a perfect time for me to be talking with you about energy policy because as we speak, I'm actually in central Pennsylvania, right in the midst of the Marcellus Shale, which is, most of your listeners know, that's where we're producing all of this natural gas that we're now using to heat our homes and provide electric power. And this is amazing. So, they have so much natural gas here. We're the natural gas. We're like the Saudi Arabia of natural gas now. And we're only about 200 miles here in central Pennsylvania from like Boston and New England. And yet last winter when it was really cold, by the way, did I hear it's 18 degrees in Chicago today?
Yes, yeah. With the wind chill, it's 9. But, yeah.
Well, last year we had an abnormally cold winter in the Northeast. And by the way, how did that happen? I thought we had global warming. But anyway, so there was a big demand for home heating oil and for electric power generation. And we don't have that. This is so idiotic, and it's because of these liberal activists. We don't have a pipeline that can get that natural gas, which is only a few hundred miles away from central Pennsylvania to New England, so we can use it for energy. So instead, last year, you're not going to believe this. Sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. Last year, New England had to get its energy from Russia shipped in because we don't have pipelines because idiots like Alexandria won't allow us to build the pipeline.
Excuse me, Steve. Excuse me. The password is renewable energy, Steve. Solar panels and wind farms.
By the way, that's going to work really well in Pennsylvania.
Yes,
Illinois,
of course.
England, right?
Yeah, why not? If she says so, it's so.
Here's your quiz question. I always ask you guys a quiz question. So,
what's the price of crude oil?
I'm going to see if you guys. Well, last year, 2017, after hundreds of billions of dollars of all these subsidies for solar panels, we're basically paying people to put solar panels on the roof. Do you know what percentage of our electric power production came from solar power last year?
1%.
You're a little bit behind the times, Dan. We're up to 1.6%.
Wow, that's a nice spike.
1.6%. Well, and then we get about 4% from wind, so that means we get 95% of our electric power from other sources like nuclear power, like coal, and like natural gas. And the left is trying to put all of those out of business. And if Cortez has her way, we're going to be riding bicycles and sitting in our houses shivering at night because we don't have enough electric power.
Well, is there any talk of building a pipeline from, central Pennsylvania to the eastern part of the country?
Well, they should, but Amy, the problem is these activists, they literally, lay their bodies in front of the train tracks and so on. They won't allow the pipelines to be built. And Trump is right about this. To get the permitting, to get these pipelines built, it can take 8 to 10 years. It's such idiocy. We are now producing. I've got a chapter in my book, Trumponomics. Thanks for mentioning, Dan. That's called Saudi America. That we now have more energy than any other country in the world. By the way, these same people like Alexandria Cortez were saying, oh, gee, we can't use our fossil fuels. These are the same people, remember, 10 and 20 and 30 years ago, were saying we're running out of oil and gas.
Yeah.
Remember? Peak oil. There's no more of it left. We have to move this. Now we have so much of it, we don't even know what to do with it all.
Now, here's a little messaging tip for you, Steve. Don't call it Saudi America right now because the left is going to say you're advocating for the murder of journalists. So you just be careful about the Saudi America
I'm just
references.
advocating for America to be number one in energy.
Yes.
And, the jobs, by the way, out here, it's amazing. I mean, this is an area that used to be very economically depressed. It was areas where there were steel mills and things like that. And the area, was really going through a depression. And now it's booming out here thanks to shale oil and gas. The same, the middle class, the Democrats keep talking about how much they care about the middle class. They want to destroy the very middle class jobs that are out there. It's interesting. Did you see the analysis in the Wall Street Journal that the districts that went heavily Democrat were very, very wealthy districts, like in states like Illinois, with highly, highly educated people. But the working class areas of the country are now predominantly going for Republicans. They've shifted. The Democrats are now the party of the elite and the super rich, and the Republicans under Trump have become the party of working class Americans.
Speaking
the deplorables. I'm a deplorable,
yes,
man.
Indeed, on so many levels. Me too. Here's the thing. I want to get your reaction because there's an interesting post-mortem going on with the announcement that Amazon's HQ2 and 2.5 will be in Virginia and New York. And it's the industrial policy, corporate welfare argument, and it's an interesting coalitions of some conservatives with people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez decrying the giveaways that states are making, Virginia, New York, and that other states like Illinois wanted to make to land HQ2. So here's some of the numbers that are being bandied about, and I want you to distill them and give us your insight on it. One suggests New York taxpayers are paying $48,000 per HQ job, the 25,000 jobs that will be located in New York. But the flip side is to say the $1.5 billion in tax incentives, the $48,000 per job, that New York is providing, the expected return is in combined tax revenue is $27.5 billion. So that's a 9-to-1 rate of return. And so, does that mean that it's good to use taxpayer dollars to incentivize and provide relief for particular businesses and particular industries, or should people not be in this business?
The government should not be in this business. Look, we know how to create jobs. We know how to bring businesses to a state. I should say we. You don't understand that in Illinois because you do everything possible
jobs here.
To keep your businesses out. By the way, just when I thought that Illinois couldn't get any bluer at any, it's like that line from Dumb and Dumber. And every time I don't think you can possibly do anything dumber, you do in Illinois, and it's a sad situation. But look, the way you create jobs is the way they do it in Texas and Florida and Tennessee and Arizona, these other states. They don't provide all these lavish corporate welfare subsidies. They just cut their taxes, cut their regulations, create a pro-business atmosphere, and the businesses come. They sprout up spontaneously. I live in Northern Virginia, Dan and Amy, and I got to tell you, we put out a lot of money to get, because the other Amazon facility is going to be right here. And by the way, they're even going to change the name. Did you see that?
No,
it used to be called Crystal. We allowed Amazon to change the name of the city
Right.
Wait, what's it going to be
that's how
called?
much we sucked up to those people. Now I forget what they're going to call it. Capital. I forget what they call it. That's the
changing
new name.
Crystal
I have
City,
to learn
Virginia?
that because, of course, I live there.
Well, there
What?
there were other states that suggested you could rename the town Amazon, Georgia, or whatever. But I mean,
Why don't we just name it Amazon?
exactly the whole state.
Amazon, Virginia.
So Virginia, it's north of $500 million in subsidies the state is giving.
Where are we going to get that money? We're taxing poor people to give rich people like Jeff Bezos a big subsidy. So I'm against it. Put me as a no. And look, I'm proud as a Virginian now that we're getting Amazon, but I'm not proud of the fact that we're sucking up to them and we're basically giving them all these handouts to do it.
Wow. So how many jobs is it going to bring to Crystal City now, Amazon, Virginia?
It's not Crystal City.
I know. Well, how many? I mean, because eventually, the 500 million. Yeah, I don't think we should give.
Crystal City any longer.
I don't think we should give
So
Jeff Bezos any
They both
breaks.
get 25,000 jobs.
Yeah,
There's
25,000 jobs. And by the way, now they want to have all these new spending programs for public transit and all this other stuff. So this is probably going to get us costing us more, more money than it's going to save for the place. But we will see. We're a little bit proud today. That we won the sweepstakes, and but I think Illinois, because you guys were offering a lot of money, right?
Oh yeah, $2 billion.
Yeah. And Mayor Emanuel, he came out.
You dodged the bullet there. You don't want it. I mean, it's going to cost you more in the end. Corporate welfare. Here's a hint. If you want to make Illinois a prosperous state, why not just get rid of your income tax, like Florida's done and Texas has done and Tennessee? I know people listening are probably thinking, "Oh my God, we couldn't end our income tax," but there are 9 states that operate without income tax, and they're booming.
Yeah.
Mayor Emanuel would not publicly give an exact reason why Amazon passed on Chicago, but I mean, I can't imagine.
I don't know.
In the
passing, I got to ask you. So Pritzker, now that he's got a deep blue legislature, is Pritzker going to be any good?
Are you serious?
We're
talking about Illinois.
I don't know. I don't know Pritzker's politics. Is he a moderate Democrat or is he a left winger?
No, he's a guy who wants to wear the sash. But so the energy is with the Democrat socialists here, like it is nationally, and so he's going to go along. He's on board for graduated state income tax. He's on board for potentially increasing the exit tax.
Wait. They want more taxes?
Of course.
Yeah, and he wants to legalize marijuana to help education.
Don't people realize you're capped out on taxes in Illinois?
We have a revenue, Steve. We have a revenue problem here, not a spending problem. So,
oh my God!
More revenue. More blood from stones.
Well, if you're going to solve your pension problem, every resident of Illinois is going to have to pay 25% more property taxes every year for 20 years. And that's not going to go for your public services. It's not going to go for your schools or your police or your fire protection or your parks. It's going to go to pay for retired school teachers and janitors and things like that. I mean, it is so absurd. I can't believe Illinois votes for more and more of this stuff.
And we love it. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN chief economist. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay. Go Bears. See you guys.
There you go. Thanks.
The Vikings. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.